Hello and welcome. This is going to be our homework help video for the absolute value inequalities homework. We start off with a little practice solving absolute value equations. If you want to see more practice on that, check out the video for the one that's just about absolute value equations. Let's skip down to the inequalities here with number 3. Now our absolute value is already isolated, so once it's isolated we want to split it into the two scenarios. One where the value is positive and our brackets don't have a job to do. One where it's negative and our brackets are going to multiply by -1 to flip its sign. So that inequality there splits into these two scenarios. This one's already ready to be graphed. V is less than or equal to 6. Put a point at 6. Check with the inequality. It's telling me to fill it in because of that or equal to. The less than means it's going in this direction. But I'm not going to finish that arrow. I'm just going to I've got my end point and I've got the direction the arrow is going. Now it's time to see what this one is up to. To get rid of that negative, I'm going to divide both sides by -1. V is now greater than or equal to -6. Greater than or equal to because the sign flipped because we divided by a negative number. So I go to -6, put a point. Fill it in because of the or equal to, arrow coming to the right. Now I can tell my two lines are going to connect. I can go ahead and join them up. So our answer is either this and this. So it is both these. It has to be less than or equal to 6 and greater than or equal to -6. That's what's going to give us that segment there. I did say here, write your confounded inequalities in a single line when possible. This one, anytime we've got an and inequality, we could just write it with the lower value less than or equal to our variable, less than or equal to our higher endpoint. All right, skipping forward, let's look for one with a greater than symbol. Number 5. So absolute value is isolated. Time to split it into the two scenarios. First scenario, -10m greater than 30. So we're saying this value is positive. Absolute value brackets didn't have a job to do. Other situation, we replace the absolute value brackets with the negative parentheses, greater than 30. And we solve from there. Here, divide both sides by -10. M greater than or equal to -3. Oh, that's not greater than. I meant to flip it there, but I didn't actually. M less than -3. Over here, distribute that negative, it just becomes a 10m greater than 30, divide by 10, divide by 10. M is greater than 3. Let's graph both of these. M is less than -3, so open circle at 3, arrow coming this way. M is greater than 3, open circle at 3, arrow coming this way. We can tell these are going to diverge. So we can complete the arrows there, put a box around these, and then join them with the word or, because it's an or inequality. The two arrows are diverging with a gap in between. All right. Number 6. Absolute value of. Well, this one's actually pretty similar. Let's get forward to something with maybe a fraction in it, like number 9 looks like a good one. So the absolute value of -x plus 1 all over 6 greater than 3. So this one we're not ready to do the split yet. We need to get rid of the operations that are outside of our absolute value bracket, namely this divide by 6. How do we get rid of a divide by 6? We need to multiply both sides by 6. So now what do I have? I've got the absolute value of -x plus 1 is greater than 18. Now I can split it into the two scenarios. First scenario, the brackets are just dropped. They just disappear. Second scenario, they are replaced with the negative parentheses. Negative parentheses, and then inside there's still the -x plus 1. It could get a little confusing. Greater than 18. All right, let's solve these individually. For this one here, I'll need to subtract 1 from both sides. -x greater than 17. Divide both sides by -1. Get that x is less than -17. Open circle at 17, arrow coming this way. Over here, distribute that negative, we'll get x minus 1 is greater than 18. Add 1 to both sides, we get x is greater than 19. Open circle at 19 coming this way. We can see now that they diverge. So this is an OR problem. X is less than -17 or x is greater than 19. All right, one of these last ones. Let's do 13. So for 13, the one, no, let's do 14. So for 14, 9 times the absolute value of x over 4 is less than -27. Divide both sides by 9. And here we reach this. The absolute value of x over 4 is less than -3. This is interesting. Absolute values are always positive. We're asking for values we can plug in here and yet get outputs that are less than -3. So in this specific scenario where we have a less than and then a negative number, we're going to get no solution. It's not possible for an absolute value to be less than a negative number. All right, it can be less than, a small positive number can be less than 1. That'll still just give us a very narrow little range. But once we pass 0 and go to the negative numbers for this over here, we get no solution. So number 14 is no solution. Hopefully that helps you to finish up this homework. Have a good rest of your day.